Good afternoon, I'm Nick Monticelli. Take a look at these flames. A house fire early this morning. A man is trapped. He jumps out of the window. Find out why the battalion chief believes this is arson.
The Russian response? The Senate passing sweeping legislation slapping new sanctions on Russia and new limits on President Trump.
Are there any, Senator?
A different feel to the air out there, a little lower humidity, setting up for a wonderful weekend. Hank, could be the weekend of the summer.
Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news coming to us from St. Clair Shores. Right now, police investigating after a body is found at the Grosse Pointe Woods Lakefront Park. That body was pulled from Milk River just a short time ago. The information we have, and as you can see, we've got some video from the scene. Police haven't said very much, not releasing a lot of information about the discovery right now. Stay with Local 4, though, and click on Detroit.com as we gather more information about this breaking story. We are also following breaking news right now from overseas. Right now, the Japanese government is reporting North Korea has fired what appears to be a missile. The Japanese prime minister has called for an emergency security meeting, saying that missile could land in the waters just off of Japan. The Pentagon is also confirming they are taking a close look at what appears to be a ballistic missile launched from North Korea. Closer to home, take a look. This was the scene overnight on Detroit's west side where a person was injured jumping out of a home that was on fire. Local 4's Nick Monticelli with an update this noon as investigators are learning exactly what happened.
Good afternoon. We have been here all morning long, but now that the sun is up, you really get a better idea of how badly damaged, or I should say destroyed, this home really is. I do want to show you some video, though. This fire started at about 3:15 this morning, and there are arson investigators here on scene because there is a chance this fire was intentionally set. It may have been firebombed. Now, what was horrific is that the fire started on the first floor and quickly spread up to the second floor. There was a man upstairs trapped. He couldn't get down the stairs because that's where the fire was. So he was basically sitting outside the window. His legs were dangling. A neighbor had just gotten home from work, realized what was going on, got a hose, tried to spray the fire. That didn't help. And then he just convinced and helped that man jump to save his own life.
I heard the glass crash, then my dog started barking. So I don't know. I didn't see anything. I just know that I seen him dangling from the window, and I helped him get out. Then I called 911.
There's a couple other factors at play here. There was some marijuana found inside of the home, but detectives say that it was just a personal grow, so it's not a grow house. There was an illegal electrical hookup. That's something they're also looking into. An arson canine is on the way to see if they can find traces of accelerant or traces of that firebomb that they think may have been involved here. A lot of moving pieces still going on. Hopefully, they'll have a better idea of exactly what happened sometime later today. We're here on Detroit's west side. Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
Nick, thank you for that update. Let's talk politics right now. Russia responding after the Senate passed sweeping legislation slapping new sanctions on Russia and also new limits on President Trump. The bill gives Congress new powers to block the president from easing sanctions against Moscow. It also includes new sanctions on Iran and North Korea. The bill now goes to the president's desk. The White House has not said whether President Trump will sign the bill. That 98-2 vote in the Senate and an earlier 419-3 vote in the House virtually guarantees Congress would override a presidential veto if it comes to that. President Vladimir Putin said yesterday that Russia would be forced to retaliate at some point if Washington pressed ahead with new sanctions against Moscow, but said his response would depend on the final text of the proposed law. Today, Russia's foreign ministry demanded that the U.S. cut a number of diplomatic staff that it has in Russia and said it would seize 2 U.S. diplomatic properties. The order, which affects the U.S. Embassy in Moscow and 3 consulates, would reduce the number of U.S. diplomatic and technical staff to 455, the same number Russia has in the U.S., and that would take place by September 1st. Russia is also suspending the use of a U.S. storage facility in Moscow, and that will take place before August 1st. In a statement, the Russian ministry said that any new unilateral actions by the U.S. to reduce the number of Russian diplomats in the U.S. will be met with a mere response. You may recall 35 Russian diplomats were expelled from the U.S. in December under sanctions imposed by President Barack Obama. The sanctions also include the closure of 2 Russian compounds. Those are located in Maryland and also in the state of New York.
The ACA is here to stay. Hello!
Well, you just heard the victory chants from outside the U.S. Capitol early this morning after senators voted down a bill that would have replaced parts of Obamacare. That bill failed 49 to 51. President Donald Trump tweeting, 3 Republicans and 48 Democrats let the American people down. As I said from the beginning, let Obamacare implode, then deal. One of the 3 Republicans who voted no was Senator John McCain. He explained his vote.
So yes, this is a disappointment. A disappointment indeed.
We didn't hear from McCain there. I apologize. That bill would have removed the mandate that forces Americans to buy health insurance. It is the 3rd attempt to repeal Obamacare that failed in the Senate this week alone. Closer to home here, a Wayne County worker charged in connection to a crash that killed a co-worker and injured another. He was arraigned today. Bobby Lee Collins facing several charges, including reckless driving causing death. Prosecutors say back on March 23rd, Collins was driving a Wayne County truck that struck David Wolf and Wilbert King while they were patching up a road in Taylor. Both were hurt. Wolf later died. Today, the first court appearance, Collins was given bond.
For the fact that he does not have that criminal history, I will put a $50,000 personal bond. Obviously, there's no alcohol, no contact. There is to be no contact with the victim's families. You understand, sir? Okay.
Defense attorneys arguing that Collins has doctor appointments he must attend after being involved in that crash. To Livonia, an update right now. A Livonian police officer released from the hospital after being hurt while conducting a traffic stop on 96. This was the scene Sunday morning, westbound lanes between Middlebelt and Merriman. Dash cam video captured that crash, showing a car rear-ending the patrol vehicle. The impact sending the patrol car into the officer. He was rushed to the hospital. He underwent surgery. He was released from the hospital, and we're happy to report he's doing well this morning. Developing right now out of Warren, 2 investigations underway after 2 businesses broken into overnight. As of right now, no one has said these crimes are connected, but police continue to take a close look at both of these cases. The first scene, that break-in happening at Buddy's Pizza on 13 Mile and Van Dyke. Police say that crime happened about 3:40 this morning. They say 2 men were involved and they used a sledgehammer to get inside. At this point, it's not clear what they took. That investigation is ongoing. That other break-in also in Warren, and that happened at the Metro Bar and Grill. That's on Ryan Road and 13 Mile. That crime happening at about 5 o'clock this morning, and that investigation, we're told, is also continuing at this hour. Turning our attention over to weather, Brandon, looks like another beautiful day and possibly a great weekend, right?
It really is, and it kind of depends on what kind of summer conditions you like. If you're in for the heat and humidity, the beach and pool weather, we don't have it today, but it's comfortable if you're working outside doing a little yard work or exercising. Great stuff. 75 at Metro Airport, 76 in Ann Arbor, 73 Pontiac, 74 in Mount Clemens. Look at Sandusky, though, 68. The winds are whipping off of Lake Huron, and that makes for choppy, dangerous boating conditions on the big lakes and smaller lakes as well. But it's going to be a cool breeze through the afternoon, 7 to 17 miles an hour, and cooler conditions in our north zone all afternoon. But most of Metro Detroit into the middle and upper 70s, near 80 without the humidity. A little bit of a breeze goes on until about 6 or 7 o'clock, and any shower chances are mainly south of Detroit and east of Detroit. We've been seeing a couple of showers here through southern Ontario. Very limited light stuff, but again, for the next couple, 2-3 hours, maybe 3 p.m. before we cut off those chances. Over the weekend, Hank, we have, as I said, what could be the best of the summer coming your way.
All right, Brandon, bring it on. Thank you. We have information. If you want to get more information about the weather, you can see the app right there. Click on Detroit.com also. You may also see some classic cars driving around Wayne and Oakland County this weekend. The 39th annual Concours d'Elegance kicking off today. The motoring tour will see classic cars traveling from Plymouth over to Pontiac. Right now, classic cars from around the country are on display at the Inn at St. John's. That's on 5 Mile Road in Plymouth. There will also be car shows, an automotive exhibit, and also seminars and many other events taking place. Tickets are $35. Kids are free. The cars will eventually travel to M1 in Pontiac, and that event is going to wrap up on Sunday afternoon. Still to come here at noon, a commuter train crashing, injuring dozens of people, where that morning chaos erupted after the break. Plus, the investigation into what caused the deadly malfunction at a thrill ride at the Ohio State Fair continuing, but the accident not only impacting Ohio, how amusement parks across the country and here in Michigan are now being affected.
Did you know?
The investigation into what caused the deadly malfunction of a thrill ride at the Ohio State Fair Wednesday night continuing today. Now, the fair is open, but the rides are closed. That accident killed 18-year-old Tyler Jarrell, who had just enlisted in the Marines. Several other people were hurt that night. Police say a gondola on the Fireball ride broke off, tossing passengers right into the air. Investigators say they need more information to figure out exactly what went wrong.
Basically an autopsy on that machine to make sure that we get to the bottom of why it came apart or why there was a malfunction.
And until investigators are able to closely examine that ride, similar rides across the country have also been shut down right now. Dozens of people were injured this morning after a commuter train crash. Spanish government officials say a commuter train in Barcelona crashed into a railway buffer inside the station while it was arriving. Some people were treated on the platform, but 51 people were taken to the hospital. The train failed to brake when entering the station. That's what the early investigation shows. But whether that was driver error or a mechanical failure is still not known right now. Closer to home, we have good news for those of you who drive I-75. Next week, 3 lanes of southbound I-75 in Oakland County are going to reopen. Those lanes had been closed, as you may know, for massive construction projects along 75 that started about 2 months ago. We're told southbound lanes between M59 and Coolidge Highway will be open by 5 a.m. on August 2nd. Right now, let's check in with Brandon Rue, who's looking at what he calls a pretty great weekend. Right, Brandon? Actually, we're going to get to Brandon right after the break. Still to come, dozens of beaches cited for high bacterial levels, with several of them facing closure right here in Michigan. Which waters you should steer clear of. All right, Brandon, take it away.
I got to give all the credit to Paul Gross. He has deemed it the weekend of the summer ahead, a sunny stretch right after the break.
The stage is set. The words are some of Shakespeare's most famous.
Now is the winter of our discontent.
So how in the world do words written in 1592 change the course of a life today?
You could either stay down or you could get back up and do your best.
Check out how the Bard's words are still changing lives all these years later, tonight at 11.
Summer has
Introducing. All right, Brandon is here. You teed it up. You said it could be the weekend of the summer.
And the sunshine, low humidity, and perfect temperatures.
Great. Sounds good.
Back to you, Hank.
Yeah, that's all we need, man. We're done.
All right. Well, you know, we've got a big Tigers game tonight, and we have weekend weddings. We have softball, baseball tournaments. So it just makes sense that it's going to be a great weekend for us here. Still a little bit of a hurdle today in a couple of spots, but it's pretty pleasant. 75 degrees. East-northeast winds at 13. And the boating concerns, the beach concerns today with those northeast winds, they just almost like lake effect snow. They keep training over the big lakes, and it just creates bigger and bigger waves, especially on the big lakes. Lake Huron, 4 to 5 foot waves, and this is a concern obviously for boaters, but also rip currents and tricky beach swimming weather along Lake Huron, Lexington, Caseville, up into Port Austin. Water temperatures are just fine, but Lake St. Clair 1 to 3 foot waves and Lake Erie 2 to 3 foot waves today. Tomorrow will be a little lighter, but still a bit of a breezy day from the east-northeast, so we'll have more trouble on the big lakes on the east side. Just throwing it out there, making sure everybody's got the life jackets, everybody's careful, and we're fine. 79 degrees, partly sunny to partly cloudy, an isolated shower or two, mainly southern Ontario and south of Detroit, but you may get a couple of drips on the windshield through the afternoon. Things get much better this evening and tonight. Overnight, how about 58 degrees? Again, low humidity. It is perfect sleeping weather. You can keep the windows open all day today and overnight. For the Tigers game tonight, it is not the Royals. I apologize. It's the Astros, but 7:10 first pitch and 76 degrees, tailgating, still a little bit breezy, and could be sweatshirt weather for some of you. 68 degrees as everybody's walking out in the big Tigers win. Here are the showers that have been showing up across southern Ontario over near Sandusky and Cedar Point. We are seeing some thinning here of the clouds, which is great, but the big blue H, our hero for the weekend, the air around it flows clockwise, and so we're getting those northeast winds, cooler air from Canada coming in, and high pressure eventually will settle over us and just plain and simply produce awesome weather. Notice the model here does keep a shower here through about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I wouldn't mind it. You know, it's Friday, we don't want it, but we need it. Rain chances this time of year are pretty slim, the dry stretch of the year, but notice the weekend here, upper 50s overnight, so there's your great sleeping weather, mostly sunshine, 80 tomorrow, 84 on Sunday. It'll be less windy or lighter breezes on Sunday, so probably the better of the 2 weekend days Sunday, but they're both really nice, and that sunny stretch continues Monday, Tuesday, most of Wednesday, but Wednesday night into Thursday, Hank, that's our next decent chance for bona fide rain and thunder showers next week.
Thank you, Brandon. Looks great. In good health, though, 14 Michigan beaches have been cited for high bacteria levels, which could face closure. Some of the bacteria levels are due to runoff, while some are listed right now as unknown. Let's take a look at some of the beaches that are being affected. They include Lake St. Clair Shores Memorial Beach, also a Lake Claire's Metro Beach, that's in Macomb, Slaughter Creek, Sleeping Bear Dunes, that's in Leelanau, Grand Traverse Bay West, Northport Bay, Marina, Leelanau, Saginaw Bay, Lake Huron, Bissett Beach Township Park, and you can find the entire list. We have all the information you need. You'll find it under the news tab at clickondetroit.com. Still to come here at noon, Adventurous Animal. This little critter takes a one-of-a-kind trip. We'll show you how far this little guy traveled.